which we had been in business like for 2.5 years, I tripled my teaching salary. My business went from $100,000 a year to $1 million a year because.
Hey everyone, today it's really exciting. We have Kayse Morris on my YouTube channel to talk all things about selling your resources and building a teacher business. Hey Kayse.
Hey Danie, thank you so much for having me. I am so thrilled to be here. This brings me back to like my roots where I started in the YouTube world. So thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to talk to you because you've built a multi-million-dollar business, but you're just still so normal and you help so many people do what you did. And I really think you embody if I can do it, you can do it too. And you've helped thousands of women build businesses, or thousands just of teachers build businesses through Teachers Pay Teachers.
Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. It still feels weird to hear people say, multi-million-dollar business, because a few years ago, I was like everyone watching, like watching people. I remember seeing that first teacher make $1 million online and printing it out and like putting it on my computer, wondering if that could ever be me. And so my purpose on this planet is to make sure it can be each and every teacher.
Yes, I love that. And okay, so if you don't know Kayse yet, then she's got a lot of things going on. So she has the CEO Teacher Academy that helps teachers build an online brand. She has a CEO Teacher podcast, which is, if you haven't listened to it, you need to listen to her story in full. So go check that out for sure. She has a YouTube channel, like she said, a membership where you can learn the basics of building a Teachers Pay Teachers store. And am I missing anything? What am I missing?
Girl, you got it. You got it. I'm impressed.
All the things. So let's dive into, I know where you are now, but what was it like before you started with Teachers Pay Teachers?
Yeah, let's go back there. I am a mom to almost 5. I have 4 boys and a baby girl on the way, but look from the outside.
Look pregnant, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
How far along are you?
I am 20 weeks today, actually.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We are so excited for a baby girl in the house. It's going to be different, but
she's going to be spoiled.
Yes.
the youngest and all boys. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, go on.
Yes. My husband said it's time for me to move over. There's got to be another queen in the house. So we'll see. I guess we can share. But it has just been such a long journey. And from the outside looking in, it's easy to think, oh, this just happened overnight, or life has always been easy for me, or that I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. But I wasn't. I don't want to say that I was the poorest or that I grew up without, because I had 2 loving parents that were so good to myself and my 2 brothers. But we came from a lot of struggle. My dad was the solo breadwinner in the house, and my mom stayed at home with us. But we've seen pinching pennies. We've seen tired eyes at the end of the day. I've watched my mom count the thermostat. We hung all of our clothes up on a clothesline. My mom sewed all of our clothes because we couldn't afford those cute little jumpers that you wore when you started kindergarten. So we've had struggles. I vividly remember rolling around on the carpet in our home when I was a little girl, probably about 5, when we could finally afford carpet, right? And it was like the funnest time ever. So I won't say I was the poorest or things like that, but I didn't grow up with excess money coming into the home. And when I found my husband, we were young and in love. We were exactly the same way. We moved into a 1-bedroom trailer together, and we had a window unit that was our air conditioning that we used to take a hairdryer to every night because it would freeze up. If you've ever had a window unit, it can freeze up and you have to thaw it out. But we were living on love and nothing else. And, I wouldn't say that I'm any happier now than I was then. I don't think that I am. I still believe that you can live on less and live a fulfilled life. But once we got married, we had 3 boys in a very short amount of time. And I entered into a very deep postpartum depression as I graduated college and went into becoming a teacher. The goal for my life to become an educator was stripped away from me. I thought I would find joy in the classroom, and instead of going through the motions and enjoying it, I was really struggling on the inside. So, it took 4 years and the help of a doctor, and also finding Teachers Pay Teachers, when my story began to change forever. And it was one teacher in the world that I purchased a lesson plan from on Teachers Pay Teachers to kind of help me out of that funk, that gave me the light and the spot and, the spark to want to teach again. And That was back in 2013. And on that day, I also decided I was going to start selling my teaching resources too. And the rest they say is history. So
Yes. So I love in your last podcast, and I'm going to link it down below. It was really fascinating. You sort of broke down your monetary transitions from each year, and like you said, it's not because you're bragging, but it's to show how you can build something, how it's really possible to do something like this as a teacher on Teachers Pay Teachers. And you had said that your first year you made $419.02.
yes.
Yeah. 2 cents. Yes.
Add that in.
I feel like for some people they're like, oh, that's not a lot. I feel like for you though, that was huge. What did it feel like to know like I can bring in extra money from selling things that I already am making?
Yeah, that was when it flipped this like entrepreneurial spirit in me. And I was just ready. I was ready to go. My first month, I wanted to make $8 and to pay our Netflix bill because we were the family that we didn't have Netflix. We couldn't afford it. We canceled it for the month. So we were so excited when I made $50. And in a short amount of time, I made $419.02. I'm glad that you were good with me sharing those numbers because as teachers, we kind of have this weird feeling about money, like we shouldn't talk about it or we shouldn't share. And I don't know if that's because we don't make a lot of it or if it's because someone in our life has told us not to be proud of that. But for the first time in my life, I was being paid for my performance, which as an educator, you can work just as hard as the teacher next door and you both make the same paycheck. So this was just like a fire inside of me that I couldn't put out. But not only that, the reason why I was doing it was to help other teachers that could be struggling like I was and to help more students. So it was like a win-win situation.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of like something that startled me when I was listening to your story was how small your teacher salary was.
Yeah.
An English teacher. Was it like 36,000, 38,000?
Yeah, when I started, it was 32,000. And when I left the classroom after 8 years, I was with a master's degree and a specialist degree, I was making about 38,000.
That's so sad.
So sad.
That's what we pay teachers in this country.
Isn't it?
And that
thankfully
teachers struggle to get by, and we're a lot of us we're always looking for side hustles, right?
Yeah, we have to feed our families, you know. It's enough to get by in a place like small town Georgia where I live, but for some of these teachers, that live in New York City, now they do give them like states, they make a lot more money, a base salary, but their cost of living is so much higher that it ends up being a wash. So even though on paper it may seem like, oh, they make $75,000 a year, their cost of living is so much higher than it is in Georgia.
Right. I think too, the internet more than ever now has made it so possible for teachers to be paid their worth, to like you said, I'm finally getting paid for what I'm creating, and I think it's this amazing thing in whatever form. So if that's a Teachers Pay Teachers store, if that's an e-commerce store, if that's a if that's even online teaching without school, there's so many teachers now that are taking their curriculum classes and they're making over $100 an hour.
Yes.
It's insane. I remember one story that I heard I thought was really interesting. I think it went around on Instagram for a while, but it was saying like if you're a teacher and you want to do small schooling during quarantine, like just get 10 kids and charge this amount a month and you would like triple your income if you're working in a public school. It's just really crazy.
It is, and it's exciting because I think that the world is about to see something that we've known all along as educators, and that's teachers make the world go round. Without our educators, we are nothing. We all have that one teacher that changed everything for us, that put that spark inside of us that made us believe in who we could be. So I think this is just the beginning for the online teacher business space.
Oh, for sure. I totally agree. So let's talk about then your transition from going from that $419.02 to now today, where you have this multi-million-dollar company. Did you, when you first started, how did you really dive into Teachers Pay Teachers? Did you have a mentor? Did you do trial and error? How did you really grow your business?
I didn't have any goals. I didn't have any dreams or aspirations at the time. I was just like, oh, let's see how much money I can make as fast as I can make it and help as many people as I can help. Let's do it. And so I burned the candle at both ends, waking up at 4 a.m. and staying up till, midnight, working. Harder I worked, the more money I made. And it was awesome those first couple of years. For the first time in my life, every weekend we went to the beach every weekend. My kids load up on Friday, we're going to the beach. We could stay at a hotel. That was crazy for us to be able to stay in a hotel. My husband and I are avid concert goers. So we were like, bye, we are going to a concert like every other weekend. So, we enjoyed that lifestyle. And I kept thinking to myself, but I'm so far behind. There are so many teachers that started this back in 2006. And I was 19 years old in 2006. They were years ahead of me. And so what could I do that helped my business grow exponentially? And I searched for that for a very long time. And I finally found it. It's what I like to call my ace in the hole or my Willy Wonka's golden ticket. And it was search engine optimization. I went to Barnes and Noble and I bought all the nerdy books and I sat down and started really understanding the language of a computer. And no other educator in the online teacher space was doing that at the time. And to be honest, I would say that my students do that, but the majority, probably 90% of teachers that sell aren't utilizing the most important feature that you need to have when you sell your resources online.
Yeah, for sure. Search engine optimization is huge. It's huge. And not just with Teachers Pay Teachers, it's with whatever you start online, right? With
everything,
your blog, with your store, especially like I was talking with Danie 2 weeks ago. We were talking about teachers putting up classes on OutSchool and like not realizing you have to put the key, what are parents actually searching for? You have to put those words in your titles and in your descriptions and all of these things. I think it's something that's basic, but it's so easy to forget and you can really master it. And so that's interesting. So it was Barnes and Noble books and SEO that really kind of shot you to that next level.
Yeah, SEO for dummies. And then that led me to like do all the research and watch all the YouTube videos and join all the programs. And that really helped me. Like you said, SEO is for everything online. I use it every time I go live on Facebook, every time I post a video on YouTube, every blog post, every image we share, every podcast, everything that we do in our business is fueled by that foundation. So that was my mission, was let me see how far I can take this. And we jumped from the number progression was like 400 and something $1,000. And the next year, I don't remember exactly what it was because I don't have the paper in front of me, but on year 3, which we had been in business like for 2.5 years, I tripled my teaching salary. And talk about life-changing. Bills were getting paid off. Like it was totally different. And I knew that at that moment that I had it, that I had figured it out. But little did I know that I was going to actually be able to teach that to other teachers later on down the road. And that's been the fun part.
Yeah. So not only with Teachers Pay Teachers, I think it's cool. Are you helping teachers enrich their classrooms? But now you're also allowing teachers to make more money too by doing it themselves as well. So it's sort of this double whammy.
Yeah, and it's been the best feeling. I've been chatting about Dharma and reading up about it, but basically it's your life's purpose. Like, what are you put on this planet to do? The new movie on Disney is called Soul, and like the whole movie's based on it.
It was so good.
Wasn't it the best?
Really good.
I was crying, and my kids were like, "Mom, it's not that deep," and I was like, "It is that deep.
We gotta going through and like recounting life." Oh, I was crying. I'm with you.
Yeah. Life is about the small moments, right? That add up to what we were put on this planet to do. And I knew I felt put on the planet to be a teacher, and I was, but it wasn't this traditional teacher in the classroom setting. I had to keep searching. And in 2017, December, so really January 2018, I left the classroom to pursue this full time. And it was just selling my resources online. I was making over 6 figures a year. Some of my students now are making over $150,000 a year, which is crazy town. It's so cool. But after I left the classroom, I realized that the number one question I kept getting asked in Walmart was, Kayse, like, how did you do this? Like, y'all must be struggling, because in the South, they don't care. They're going to ask you all the questions, right? And I was like, no, like, let me show you. And so I was spending time showing people, and I started coaching people individually. And there's only so many people you can help when you coach people individually. So I had 16 to 25 students in rotation. And again, I was burning the candle at both ends. And so I decided to launch a course and a membership that would help teachers. And it's been the best thing ever.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I feel like that is such a thing of like, you start working with people one-on-one and you built a system that really works. So, when you launch this course that it's easy for people to follow. I love what you say. Like it took me, 2 years to really get it down, or 3 or 4. I can't, it was like really kind of 2 years for you to really get it down. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still getting it down. Like it's still, we're 7 years in and I'm still like, oh, I learned things every day. And that's the fun part.
but it's you, people learning from you. It's like they fast track those 2 years that it took for you to learn it all. You give them right away, right? So it is really the power of investing of yourself and finding someone that's done it before you is, for me, I found it's just one of the most amazing things that I just didn't realize for the longest time. As someone who's had businesses, I'll think a lot of times you want to do everything yourself and you want
Yeah.
to build it yourself. You don't realize there's so much power in having someone that's walked in those shoes before to say, okay, well, I'll pull you to where I am, right?
Yes, you're so right. We were chatting about that before we started recording too. Someone once said that if you want to go a little ways, go by yourself, but if you want to go far, go with other people. And as a control freak, teachers are notorious about like wanting to control every situation, right?
Mhm.
So we don't want to let go. And I struggled with that even in the last 2 years. I don't want people to think that I just like let go and was like, woo, it's all great. But I have just now in 7 years of business, I can give things to people and I promise you they can do them better than I can.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's something that I have been learning and I'm still learning right now, is letting go of that control. And wow, you realize just how much faster things move if you let go.
Yes,
But it's
it's
hard
still
to do.
hard and
It's
it still
hard.
keeps me up at night. Yeah, because it's your baby, right? You're like,
Yes.
no one will ever do this as good
Yes.
as I do it.
But actually they'll do it better and they have more expertise in it. Yeah. But somehow yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay. So is it SEO, or what is the secret sauce you think to teachers pay teachers, or even just like building a business in general? What have you find? Is it that like Dharma? Is it that having that purpose? What have you found in working with thousands of teachers?
It all goes back to their confidence in the marketplace. Teachers are not confident behind the scenes. Pull them out of their setting and they have a degree in education. Throw them into the online marketplace and they are scared of the approval factor, right? We get the 100s, we get the check marks. We were the students that did what we were supposed to do. So putting yourself out there and having, ratings or bad comments is scary. And so what I get to do on a weekly basis is give them the confidence that they need to keep pushing forward and hold their hand and let's say, let's do this together. Let's walk hand in hand. And that's been the best part of helping all of these teachers, is to see how quickly they gain that confidence and that traction. And then the next step is really understanding that there are gaps in the marketplace. People will always say, oh, well, the market's oversaturated. There's how many millions of resources on Teachers Pay Teachers. Nobody makes money on there anymore. And we love people that make those excuses because we're like, okay, that's fine. Leave it all to us. But the main thing is that in 2021, if you want to start or expand your teacher business, you have to find the gaps in the marketplace. I'm sorry, you can't just come in and say you're going to be the kindergarten resource rock star and everyone's going to know your name, because it's been done before. So you have to really understand how the market has evolved and how can I become what people know me for kindergarten centers. Well, even that is a little saturated. So let's dig down a little deeper. Just like we unpack standards as teachers, we have to begin with the end in mind. And then I help them walk that backwards. And we make this beautiful marriage of what they're passionate about, but also what other teachers need. And when they find that connection, that's when I get to see the spark in their eyes go off. And that's when they're unstoppable, like some of our $100,000 earners are.
Yeah, I love that. I had a master class recently and I talked about that. It is this perfect marriage between like your passions and your stories and your own struggles, right, of what you offer, and then a marriage with SEO and what actually is needed and how you can niche that down and put it all together. It is this magical thing where you realize like there is a platform for me to share my expertise online, and where people are actually going to be able to find it right away.
Yeah, and we live in a learning society. Like you said, masterclass, and I went straight to the app that I have on my phone now, where you can purchase the courses from famous people.
Oh,
And
masterclass, the app. I love the app.
Me
I
too.
need to watch Masterclass at lunch a lot.
Right? So we are like learning beings. We love that. I'm going to be a master gardener. Listen, I'm going to watch R.L. Stein teach me how to write scary books. Things that I never knew I wanted to learn
Yeah.
are now at my fingertips from the best people in the world. So, yes, sometimes purchasing a course can be an expensive investment. But once you realize the possibilities, like it's totally worth it. I just wish that it was there in 2013.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I love that. And speaking of we just always want to be learning as humans. There's so many different platforms now that you can do that. I know you had quoted, it was Napoleon Hill, a goal is a dream with a deadline. I know you love books, and I saw on your thing too, I just got this, the 7 spiritual laws of success.
Oh,
But
it's so good.
okay, if you had to pick one book where someone was like, what business book should I read? What would you got to pick one.
Fun. That's like
You
picking
gotta
your
pick
favorite
one.
song or like, trying to explain what water tastes like. Like
Well,
I can't.
one top one, because people love to like, people love book recommendations. So what would be, or even like, what's yours for right now? What would be your book
Okay,
recommendation?
can I give like top in like certain categories on where you are in your
Yes,
business? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
I suppose.
I guess we'll let you keep running your mouth for a little bit longer. So the book that changed my life and the first audiobook I ever read was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Dr. Stephen Covey. God rest his soul. That changed everything in my perspective on humanity and understanding that life is not about you win, I lose. It's a win-win situation. So that's where I would start. Super deep. I've read it about 7 times. So if you're not into that whole situation, I got another option for you. If you're thinking to yourself, Kayse, I just want to get into a good headspace and I want to feel good energy and I want to understand that what I bring to this earth attracts good energy, I encourage you to read You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. That was the first book I read when I left the classroom. And then if you really want a life-changing whirlwind, it is by Napoleon Hill, written in the 1930s, still one of the most popular books of all time, and it is Think and Grow Rich.
Mhm.
I named my son out of person in that book. Like I will read
Oh,
it every year. It is so good. It actually goes really well with the book you mentioned, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. They partner together. So
cool. All right. Actually, I'm like embarrassed to say I've never read any of those books. So those are all on my list for this week.
if you like lighthearted and funny, like You Are a Badass at Making Money is like the best at like you just want to go kick everything and just act like you're awesome. Read that one first. It's really like will lift you up. The other ones are super deep, but you'll have them in your collection forever.
I love that. Yeah, I'm just right now I'm reading Building a Story Brand. I'm almost done with it.
Donald,
And
yes, love him.
yeah, it's really good. And then I'm also exploring the world of lucid dreaming. That's just a fun one for me. And then I'm reading.
Oh, so we actually in our academy we have a lesson on lucid dreaming. So I need to read this book. Yeah, I'm into that.
This one's supposedly I have a teacher who's got his PhD in psychology, but he did a lot of stuff with dreams, and he recommended this book. So this is the one if like you're really trying to learn how to lucid dream. Think about how much of your life you spend dreaming. Might as well control them and dive
I
deeper
know.
into your psyche. Okay.
Okay. I need you to email me the title of that. I'm going to put that on the next book to read. I
All
believe
right.
in that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I will. I will. I had my first lucid dream yesterday.
See, it's amazing what we can do with our brains when we ever we put
Yeah.
our mind to it.
But anyway, okay. Um, I wondered, I really love, and what I think is a pull for people when they listen to you is that you can tell you really have a heart for helping people find their mission, right? That you say that over and over again. And that's what I love to do too. I love helping women and teachers in general, right? For me, it's especially I love helping women figure out like what is your passion and purpose and what is like your mission, what is your soul's desire, and how can you make that happen? And I know that's something that you teach in your programs. And so is there some sort of a theme that you found in helping a lot of people sort of find their mission, especially working with teachers where very often we need that like philosophical drive? Is there something that you found a sort of common theme of what is people's mission?
It has to always be removed from the making money factor. I think that you can hear the conversation that we had, and as humans, we're just automatically, some of us are motivated by money, especially if we don't come from it. So even for me in the beginning, I put too much emphasis on money. And some of those books that I mentioned before, including a book called Dollars Flow to Me Easily, were part of the reason why I started to completely change the way that I viewed my life's purpose and my life's calling. It will never be about money. If you do what you do for money, you will never reach that next level. My business went from $100,000 a year to $1 million a year because I stopped making it about that number. Instead, I turned everything that I did, from my meditations and my prayers to things that I say on a daily basis, about people. And when your focus goes back to helping other people and you are emotionally invested and you envision the lives of those people being forever changed, that is when you find massive success that you can't even contain in a lifetime. I truly believe that I'll be able to pass this down from generation to generation because I've found what it means to know my life's purpose. And so I want everyone watching to know that first, you don't have to know what you're going to do. You just need to know that you are meant for more. And second, you will find that only in helping other people. And it doesn't have to be people. It could be animals. It could be the environment. But we were all put on this earth to better something in this world. And once you find what it is, and you put your focus, like I see the students that come into my course before they ever actually purchase my course. I see them, I see their families, I see them paying for education and trips, things that they never thought possible. And because I have turned my focus on helping people, that's when I found massive success. So as I teach people to find their purpose and their calling, you have to really shift that. And until you make that shift, you can't truly get there.
I just got chills. I love that. That is, I believe that wholeheartedly. And for anyone going through a sort of a transition period, or you don't know exactly what your purpose is, when I was in a point in my life where I was really struggling for what to do, the book A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl was really fascinating to me and really interesting. Have you ever read that book?
I have started it, but I haven't finished it. So thank you for that reminder.
Yeah, I really love that one. I think it's he talks about, he's Viktor Frankl is a survivor of the Holocaust, and was at internment camps for a long time, and survived and wrote about it, and talks about how logotherapy, which is, you need to have a purpose or a mission statement to your life almost, and if you have that, then you can get through anything because you know what that purpose is. And so anyway, that's just a great book for anyone that's interested in kind of diving deeper into that. It was really helpful to me. I really love that book. One of my favorites.
I like that you said that too. We call that like our North Star. My mission is to empower every teacher to leave a legacy online by teaching what they're passionate about and selling their teaching resources. So anytime that some controversy comes up, because it will in business, let's say you have a disgruntled customer, or let's say that someone bashed you in a Facebook group, all of which have happened to me before, I go back to that sentence that I just stated, and I can easily, like that, it took years, let it go. I don't need to know what they said. I don't need, I want to help them and be helpful to them, but I also have to remember that they aren't my purpose. And if I can't fulfill that for them, I have to focus on the people I can fulfill it for.
For sure. That reminds me too, in my program, I help online teachers start YouTube channels. And a lot of that is a fear of judgment from others, right? And I say, as long as you have that mission statement of who you know that your story and your expertise is going to help, isn't that so much more important than the potential fear of judgment from others, or the bad things that people might comment? Or your mission to help people, and you helping people is always going to be greater. And so you have to come back to that for sure.
Yes, I love that.
Okay, so how can people work with you? Can you talk a little bit about your different programs? I know you have the membership, but you also have something exciting opening up soon, right?
Yes, thank you so much for asking. We are just now started sharing a brand new book that we released called How to Start or Expand Your Online Teacher Business in 2021. It's a lot of details, a lot of graphic organizers. So get your flare pens ready and your highlighters, and let's talk about your purpose and your passion, and let's find your ideal customers. And I'll show you step by step how I started, even at square one, or if you're already started, how to expand that even further. You can go to kaysemorris.com/go, to get that started today. But once you download that and work through it, I'm not going to leave you hanging. We're going to start a brand new video series, and you downloading that workbook is going to get you on the wait list. Again, I'll spell it for you. It's KayseMorris.com/go, G-O. And then
Link to it.
oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, link it down. I forget we can say that, like link it down in the description below. Um, but from there, I'm going to give you so much value. So even if you don't join our programs, you're going to say, I learned so much and I might not be ready yet, but it's not a no. It's just a not right now. Everyone says I talk myself out of selling things to people, but that's not why I'm here. Is to help you get there whenever you decide to make that leap of faith. But at the end of those trainings, we're going to be opening cart to our Make Your Mark membership that we only do once a year, but we've got over 2,000 teachers inside of our membership that teaches you how to create your very first resource, how to market it, how to sell it on social media. And what people say is worth its weight in gold is our coaching program. So in conjunction with that, we have coaching sometimes twice a week for myself and some of our CEO teacher master coaches, where we'll go through your products and your blogs and your descriptions and your TPT store and kind of take you down this journey of what it means to create habits and to understand data. And we're not just going to like send you to the wolves. It's an ongoing process for us.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So if I'm telling you, if you are trying to start Teachers Pay Teachers store, that's the one thing that I have learned in my own business is invest in yourself is so worth it. And I think it's so funny you say I talk people out. I just had a strategy class today. I'm like, I think I talked about it because I'm like, if you don't want to sign up, that's what you never. But I'm never gonna push it. I know what I offer, and I know what you offer works. And so I'm telling you, if you are interested in selling online, to have someone take you through it, it really fast tracks your growth. And to have that coaching aspect, my eyes like light up. I'm like, ooh, that is huge to have people look over your stuff. And I'm sure, yeah, definitely check that out. I am so inspired by you, Kayse. Thank you so much for your time and for talking with us. Again, all of those links are down below, so you can find her there and check out her podcast for sure. Okay. Any
This was
final
so
words,
much fun.
Kayse?
No, thank you so much for having me. It brought me back to the YouTube days. So stick with it. If you're starting your YouTube channel as a teacher, talk about a gap in the marketplace. I say that to my students all the time, but YouTube is a landmine. Like it is just waiting for teachers. Like there are very few teachers that understand search engine optimization and give value on a consistent basis on YouTube. But most of my students will still tell you that's where they found me, years and years and years ago. So go all in with Danie if you want to start a YouTube channel too. I think that's awesome.
All right. Well, everyone have a great day and I will see you next video. Thanks, Kayse.
Thank you. Bye.